Music will stop the war. Trying to be right with God. For real. They out there playing with these buttons. Music will stop the war. 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 Always wonder when soldiers die. Is there a place for them in the sky? Does the Lord let them enter in and turn his face when it comes to sin? What? Everybody's saying that the war gon' end. You might as well stop and put down your pen. You might as well quit cause the troops coming home. But all this war is still going on. Yeah. Everybody yelling that they left Iraq. Everybody saying that they won't go back. Everybody talking this mumble jumbling. Well, step your game up cause the world is tumbling. Economy crumbling, monopoly stumbling while thoughts in my mind keep rumbling. 40,000 more troops to the Middle East, but they said that the war would cease. Music will stop the war. 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 Always wonder when soldiers die. Is there a place for them in the sky? Does the Lord let them enter in and turn his face when it comes to sin? Music will stop the war.
Our way to the river banks, going back down to the water to wash my head. Now we on our way to the river banks, going back down to the water to wash my head. Now everybody talking about peace. In order to talk about peace, you got to talk about the Middle East. You got to talk about the streets, bombs and guns. Everybody talking about violence, but we're the ones talking about making it silent. Everybody talking about nuclear weapons, but I'm trying to tell them that they need to get stepping. Everybody talking about guns and bombs, I'm trying to tell them we need to keep it calm. Everybody talking about bombs and death, I'm trying to tell the rulers, y'all, take a breath. Kick back in the White House, kick back in the government, relax and let your wonderment flow. And start to think more beautiful, psychedelic, leave alone the relics. With some grateful dancing, some grateful romancing, and some grateful streams. With some grateful rhymes and some grateful guitar, and more gratefulness will bring. We was listening to Bob Weir, and a little bit of that feel less. Rolling across the bridge with my guitar players who's so fresh. We landed up at the concert in Mill Valley at practice with Bob Weir twisting knobs, man. And we had to just mac this. They got up on the stage with Phil Lesh and Bob Weir. It was one more microphone. Bro stepped up and we made them cheer. It was the Dead 2010 with my homeboys. We got in and all the fans threw up their hands. And now we got them jumping up in the stands. Where we going? We going back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Where we going? Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. That's what I'm saying. Play on. How do you know I am what I am? Take a little time and listen to the band jam. Back to the river, back to the river. We're going back to the river. I go back to the river. Go to church. Back to the river. Where we going? Back to the river. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. We're going back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. We're going back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Now, bumping this this music in your car, even though we feel like stars out here on Shattuck in Berkeley, going berserk G. All you need is an instrument if you want to get down with us, or a little vocal chords if you're talking about peace, get in, bust. Cause that's all we're talking about is peace. That's all we're trying to do is put down the beast. That's all we're doing is trying to make the murder cease. That's what we want in this life today. So maybe we ought to do a little more praying. Maybe they ought to stop doing that slaying. All of the troops come home. Let them come sit down on the throne. They got wives in the kitchen, daughters in the rooms, family sitting back and they're acting all gloomy, waiting for the sergeant, waiting for the colonel. In the Middle East, it's an inferno. Stop the war, stop the drugs, stop the violence, stop the thugs. Get your mug, pour a little coffee in, pour a little tea in. That's what we gonna be in. Mix it up. That's what we doing today on Shattuck. That's all I gotta say. We got the acoustic because we choose it. You can choose it, just use it. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Back to the river. With a little Bob Weir. Back to the river. And a little Bill Lesh. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Back to the river. Yeah, back to the river. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Back to the river. Chillin'. Back to the Chillin' music will stop the war. Back to the river. .com. Back to the river. We got a little bit from Jay Lane, Mike McGinn. Just got off tour with Bob Weir. We doing it live, keeping the vibe going. You know what I'm saying? We got a live album, more live music. Hip-hop album, music will stop the war. Taking them back to the river. Y'all know what this is. Real musicians know what this sound is. Bob Weir ain't here right now, but we doing the best we can be doing. All right now. All right now.
This is Berkeley.
Live on Shattuck.